sons, you could have stayed. It's only over when the day is done. I never knew you was a runner, yeah. I mistook you for a son. It don't matter what we think when it's all over. 'Cause this is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah. This is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah.
Archie, is it fun?
Fun.
Fun.
After me. Ready? Happy?
Happy.
New?
New?
New.
Boom.
Was wrong to say I wouldn't change a thing, 'cause in the story of our lives, the best of times through colored glass, time moves on enough to let me move on past, but every little now and then it creeps on back to shade my smile.
Alright, so today is May 16, 2021. It's 6:30 a.m. Still camping. My kids are still sleeping. Husband's still sleeping. Just made breakfast for them. Waiting for them to get up. You could hear the sound of the birds in the background. But this is why I'm recording this. Last night I was thinking, after listening to the podcast earlier in the day, yesterday, and this came to mind, where in terms of the way Harry grew up, not only they took his mom away from him early in his early years, whatever Diana had taught him had already embedded in him. The foundation of what human being supposed to be was already embedded in him. Then, once his mom passed, what I think happened is that this is why Harry can never blame anyone that raised him, is that the queen probably, again, that's my humble opinion. I could be 1,000,000,000% wrong. It's just my observation of things, my humble opinion, is that the queen raised Harry. She took that opportunity to raise Harry because she did not have the chance to raise her kids when she was younger. She was new to her role. Her dad passed away, so she had to, take her dad's position. So she was new to that position. She was learning that position or adjusting to that new position as a queen. So someone else was raising her kids. So therefore, the queen, once Diana passed, she took him, meaning Harry, under her ranks, raised him the way she knew best, right? And I believe she wasn't really acting as a grandmother. I think she was pretty much acting really as the mother. Okay, took that opportunity to take Harry under her wings and all of this. And at the same time, she didn't have that foundation herself to the know-how kind of thing. So she did her best with Harry. That's the thing here. And Harry, oops, someone driving in the next campsite. And many of the things that I've said in other podcasts, that Harry can never really blame anybody the way he grew up. And knowing that, you know, and some of the things that I've said, you know, he said it in that podcast, where when he goes to other countries, other places, seeing how people are living, and like he said, he usually goes to the worst place in the country and see how will I say that? The lack of funding, lack of the way people are living, and the hunger, I will not say desperation. Maybe desperation could be part of that word. Why would I say that? Hunger, sour, the sadness, and people looking for hope and things like that, and the way their government are treating them, and all of this. And this is where the monarch should have been, scooped in and either put the word in, and for on behalf of the people, saying this is the way I think you should do things, or if not, provide the kind of funding and help that those people needed. So Harry, when he goes there, that was pretty much the learning experience. And the other thing is that what I see happen here, because of Diana's work, her heart, her true self of helping people and things like that. And not only Harry saw it, and this is the return that the world is giving Diana's son. Even though he's at his own right, he has his own true foundation of helping people. He shows what he could do on his own. But I feel like the world, aside from Harry's own foundation, okay? Harry could do, people around the world could pretty much take Harry under their wings without Diana kind of thing, because Harry himself, his true foundation, his true self, is doing the work where he's being embraced. But what I'm seeing here, take aside Harry's own foundation of things, okay? What he does for the world is that the world is returning Diana's not favor, returning the things that Diana have given the world. You understand? What's the term for that? When Diana was alive, she goes around the world, shed light into things that people were brushing off. The people who could do things were brushing off, but Diana shed light into it, right? So because of that, and I feel like the world is returning that to Princess Diana and say, okay, this is what you did for us. We're returning it to you. We are the son that is showing the same kind of heart and the rejection of the royal of him. We are taking it. We are taking him for you. We are protecting him for you. We are embracing him for you. All right? Remember, I said Harry is doing his own thing. The world will still be doing that. But in terms of Diana, look at, for instance, when I think in one of the, is it Kensington Palace or something, or Charles, who did some photos with Camilla, and you see all the people within that was saying Diana forever, Diana forever. And I think I even went on that IG post because I saw it on Twitter and I went to see for myself and I recorded it. I show it to you. So this is the thing here. I feel like the world, the people who had embraced, who understand, not the two-faced. When she passed, they were crying and all of this. Oh, Diana, we miss you. But when she was alive, they were bashing her along with the tabloid. Not this type of people. People around the world. Forget the people in the UK. People around the world are the one who is the true fan, the true patriot of Diana. So they're taking Harry under their wings and say, we're going to protect Harry for you. All right? Because we saw what they did to you, and then they're doing the same thing to your son. Because right now, I'm not talking about the squaddy. Forget the squaddy. The squaddy is new from the get-go. Forget the squaddies. I'm talking random people who didn't give a shit about the royal or Harry or none of that. But as things starting unraveling, some of the people around the world who are minding their own business. Occasionally, I come across some of those tweets when they ask some question. You know, most squaddies will say, "Oh, we know that already," or they will think it's like they're trying to bash or something, or the beginning of a bashing of Harry. But they're asking genuine question because they don't know. But the squads will inform them of what's going on. So these are the people, the ones who goes to work every day minding their own business, and then all of a sudden, we're seeing all this, they force feeding those information to people, and then all of a sudden they say, what happened? Those type of people. All right. So the squad, this is what I'm saying sometimes. Don't automatically assume people know. Give them time to understand. And if they don't know, take a few seconds to explain to them what's going on. And then if they respond back after you explain to them, you see them going the wrong route, then yeah, all bets and all hats are off. Do what you have to do to protect Harry and Meghan. So a lot of people don't know. So these people around the world who are minding their own business are returning the favor to Princess Diana to protect Harry. So we still need to, that force that Harry was talking about, now he no longer afraid of, it's a very powerful force. It's, the squad did their job. They put that barrier, that the Tina, the Michelle, the Maya, page masters, these, okay, they were the foundation. All right. When those tabloids start saying things and things like that, the squads were the one who put that barrier and said, they weren't that strong as they are now at the beginning, but they were doing the pushback. All right. Each punch the tabloid were doing on Harry and Meghan, the Tina, the Michelle, the Myra, the Mia, they were doing the counter punch, one at a time. It was weak, but they were doing it. But now, as more people like myself got involved, when we see things, I mean, I'm not doing the type of work that they're doing, but at least shedding light to what's going on to you guys, it's another version of it to let other people know this is what they're doing. Okay, the counterpunch. All right, when we hear this negative information that they're trying to brainwash people, okay, so it's like a war of information. This is what's going on here, because through information, you either educate yourself or be dumbing down the people mind. Okay, is a battle of information. When you look, this is why they really don't like dark-skinned people, because there is something from the beginning of time. This is how they have done so much pain, sorrow, inflicting all sort of inhumane kind of things to any dark-skinned people. So dark-skinned people, it doesn't have to just be African American. Anyone around the world, all right, they have experienced the worst of humanity. So they can never really brainwash all of them. They do get some, okay? You know some of them more than I do, okay, who have the mic, but instead of pushing back, they join in. Okay, look at the Malcolm X thing, what caused Malcolm X to die and all of this. These are the type of people that, they will ruin some of their mind. But majority, the overall of most of them, they can never ruin them because they know what they are about. All right. So right now in the 2021, it's a war of information. They already ruined majority of Brits. When you hear them talk from afar before knowing all of this, I thought they were very smart. I really did. But when you hear them speaking, even though with their accent, you will think, now when I hear that accent, I'm like, oh my God, I better pay attention. Or they would tell me some stupid things now. Okay, that's how they have, enlightened majority of people around the world, because we used to think they were smart, but when they're talking, you really listen and pay attention to what they're saying. You're like, what the F? My 2-year-old is smarter than most of them. Even though I don't have a 2-year-old anymore, but you would assume many of these people who have great position, they did a lot of schooling, they have all sort of degrees, but when they speak, you're listening to the information that they're giving you, you'll be like, what the fuck? Where did these people come from? So this is what they think. There's a bird. Let me see if I close or cover all of my stuff. No, he's just flying over. Yeah, when they speak, you would assume these are very intelligent people. But I don't know if it's their hate that blind them so much that they don't process some of the things that they are saying and some of the things they are doing. Like, for instance, in one of my videos, I said there's only one person who probably who had the mic and did the right thing. And that's that weatherman who put that other guy, I don't even want to mention his name, in his place, and then he walked off the stage. So this is the thing, when you have young people, is start training them. Not only reading comprehension, listening comprehension. This is very important. Before, usually it takes me a while to analyze certain things when somebody tells me. This is why sometimes I try not to give my response right away. It usually takes me a couple of days later to process. Look at this. I listened to the podcast yesterday and then I came to this realization. So I'm pretty sure as days goes by, more things will come to me, or as I read more tweets, because I bookmark a lot for me to share with you. I didn't go to all of the comments, but some of the tweets that I saw that refer to the podcast, I'm pretty sure other people's gonna have comment under it, and then I'll have some more reaction to them. I didn't read some of those comments, but it usually takes me a while to analyze certain things. So when you're raising your kids, one of the things right now I'm doing with my kids is reading comprehension. They have to understand what they're doing. And I think they're starting to get it. Now, the problem we have here is listening. When somebody's talking to you, all right, maybe now I should probably start making them listen to, I have to look, see if there's podcasts for kids. Or before, I didn't like them to listen to books audio because I wanted them to read, to see the words themselves, for them to know how to pronounce it and stuff like that. So maybe now I will start occasionally let them listen to books. That way they could process their listening comprehension. So this is the problem many of us, are having, because the information that is given through podcasts, okay, through the media, where you just sit back and just listen, and then you're processing the wrong information that they're giving you. So this is a huge problem we are having here in terms of war of information. War of information. To be able to pinpoint when something is being said that's not right, to automatically target it and say, this is not something I want to listen to. Because a lot of people have a problem of knowing, this is not for me. Look at, for instance, for Joe Rogan. I've mentioned him before on some of my videos. You guys probably were not into the Johnny Depp thing and stuff like that, but I was, because I was a fan of him. I wasn't dead, dying fan. I knew of him from 21 Jump Street and all of that. So I knew of him. So I wanted to pay attention to what's going on. And as I started following his case in the UK, I'm paying more attention, and then I come across the Joe Rogan. I never listened to him, but because someone else shared a podcast that he did talking about him, and I was like, oh, okay. So, and I even shared that particular clip with you. Then I went to listen to him and one or two of his podcasts. I was like, what the fuck is he saying? He's not my type. So I never really follow him. Okay, when people share certain things, you go and find out yourself. You see if it fits to you. So some people don't know how to turn off. All right, the thing is there. It's at your fingertip. You have a choice of knowing, should I listen to this person? Okay, is the information that he's giving me will improve on my way of thinking, or is it dumbing down my mind? So many people don't know when to turn off and when to turn on. Like, for instance, when I said during Trump presidency, all right, I realized that the news got me upset. Okay, every little thing my kids said to me, I find myself screaming at them for smaller things. And then I was like, oh my God, I just watched this thing. Am I taking it on my kids? So I stopped watching the news. So I turn off. People need to understand and know when to turn off and when to turn on. All right, I already have that habit of not even watching the news. I don't even watch the news anymore. I go to Twitter, things that are important to me, I listen to, and then some of them I share with you, So the world of information, listening process is very important right now. And in terms of Harry, the world is returning whatever Diana have done throughout her short public service, and returning to that favor back to her son. And this is why I say sometimes it doesn't, if you're a good person, you don't need to be a billionaire to cash in all of this. All right? If you show people kindness, understanding, when they need help, if you can, you do. If you don't, you don't do it. Or if you know someone else who could help that person, you do it. So people will remember that. So this is what I see here. People will always embrace Harry because not only he's a good person, we know he lost his mom at a younger age, and we understand the process of growing up. All right, there are times you do some silly stuff. All right, so I think Harry had. It's just unfortunately he lost his mom at a younger year, but he had gone through all the turbulation, sorrow, happiness, privileges, all of this. So he understands his position. And when it comes to his position, I was going to stop, but this came to mind also. When it comes to position in life, I knew it. I knew. It took him a while to realize the position that he had. So once he sit down and he understand what he has, and all the people he encountered around the world, the pain and sorrow, the hunger, all of this that they are going through. And then when he put himself in their shoes and realized, I'm in the best position. I've said all of this and many other of my podcasts. Occasionally I repeat them because when I come across certain tweets, it reflects to that. So on this podcast that he did with that guy, something armchair, I believe, okay, he repeated it. He said it. And this is where I was like, I don't need to do a review for it because everything that he said, I've already said it from afar as my humble opinion. But he pretty much confirmed what I was thinking, what I felt. All right? But people's gonna make mistake. He will be making mistake along the way. So we have to be careful as we move forward that he is human being. There's a lot of things he's gonna do. We probably not gonna like it. Why? Because he's a human being. Human beings are not perfect. All right. So, he's trying his best. Don't know how. His mind and body, I think, right now is in a good space, and he's surrounding himself with people with good mindset. So most likely when he's about to do something wrong, or when he did something wrong, or he already did it, or he's in the process of doing it, he is in the right space where people around him don't give a fuck if he's a prince. They're gonna tell Harry, stop doing this shit, okay? You being a dumbass right now, so just stop it, all right? And then he's gonna take his time and process this and say, oh, you're right. I was a dumbass for doing that. I'm just saying, okay? So it's not like over there in the UK, everybody have to bow down to him, except his father and brother and the queen. These are the three people who will not bow down to him. Everybody else will. Okay? So he's in a good place, and he will be making mistake, and he's gonna make sure his kids don't don't do the wrong thing, and then he's setting a foundation for his kids to say, oh, my dad did this, I could improve on my life when I have my kids, Archie and soon to be baby Sussex. When they have their own kids, they're gonna learn from Harry and Meghan and said, the way that I grew up, this is the mistake my dad did. I'm gonna make sure I don't do that to my kids. So it's right now Harry is creating the foundation for his line of succession. Okay? His kids. All right? When his great grandkids grow up, they're gonna look back and say, wow, my great granddad left this life of privilege to give us this. All right? So when you look at your family tree, when you look at people who do their research, you see some celebrities who's doing their DNA, looking back who their grandfather or grandparents were and all of that. You will always see those people are proud of their great grandparents when you see them jump the hurdle. Not when the red carpet is laying out to them and then they walk free and do whatever. It's always the ones who jumped the hurdle, who where barriers were put in front of them. These are the people you always see so proud of their great grandparents. Okay? So this is Harry. When his great grandkids are looking back, they're gonna say, wow, I'm proud of my grandma and my grandpa. Look at all these things that they went through. My great grandpa was, the son of a future king, and he left that life to give us this. All right? And then look what they were talking about him with my great grandma. This kind of thing, which is Meghan and Meghan and Harry, this thing. All right? So they are jumping the hurdle. So, and then when you look at other actors, when you look at their great-grandparents who were probably the brutal, the dictator, or they were part of a regime and all of that, you see how ashamed they are. Okay? This is the thing here. We've seen this thing play out in front of us to understand what Harry's trying to do and what his future line of succession, his future great-grandkids will be so proud of them for what they are doing now, my time, our time. All right? So we've seen this kind of thing play out before. So this should not be any surprise to many of us when we see the thing that's going on. And it's sad, and the royal family that fishbowl that they are in, they don't see the wrong. Okay? And they have the opportunity to speak up. They are at the position to be able to do something about it, but they're not. This is where things will be not so great for many. I mean, we are looking at it now. Look at the branch of past king and queen and all of that. when we look at them now, do you think, are we proud? Are we happy about what they did? Look, all the sorrow, the hunger, the mistreatment of people around the world that they did. Are they proud of that? I don't think so. This is why they're trying to change history. They're working so hard to change that because it's not that good. It's not that great. If it was so good and so great, guess what? They'll flaunt it in our face and say, oh, this is what we did. It's so great. We treated these people like this, okay? But instead they were treating people like animals. So they don't have something so good to be proud of. So this is the comparison here. All right? Harry already did his apology, even though it wasn't his fault. He did his apology saying, he's sorry for whatever it is. So,
Hi everyone, I hope you're all safe and well wherever you are in the world and that you're looking out for each other, which I have no doubt that you are. I am so incredibly proud to be part of these awards as they honour the legacy of my mother and bring out the very best in people like you. You are all doing such incredible work, and at a time of great uncertainty, you have found the power and inspiration inside of you to make a positive mark on the world. And I love that the Diana Award is able to help you do it. I know that my mother has been an inspiration to many of you, and I can assure you, she would have been fighting your corner. Like many of you, she never took the easy route, or the popular one, or the comfortable one. But she stood for something, and she stood up for people who needed it. Right now, we are seeing situations around the world where division, isolation, and anger are dominating, as pain and trauma come to the surface. But I see the greatest hope in people like you, and am confident about the world's future and its ability to heal because it is in your hands. My wife said recently that our generation and the ones before us haven't done enough to right the wrongs of the past. I too am sorry. Sorry that we haven't got the world to the place that you deserve it to be. Institutional racism has no place in our societies, yet it is still endemic. Unconscious bias must be acknowledged without blame to create a better world for all of you. I want you to know that we are committed to being part of the solution and to being part of the change that you are all leading. Now is the time, and we know that you can do it.
his thing is clean. His conscience is clean. When you look at that video, I don't know if you guys went to that particular link and watch it, but the South African guy, where the mom sort of understand the position South African are in now, who's in power, and why they will give job to certain people instead of them. And then when you look at the son, when they ask him question, he's like, oh, whatever knowledge they have, we gave it to them. We taught them this, and they're using what we taught them to do that. But when you look back at things, the people who were in the land were doing their own things already. They don't teach these people those things. South Africa need to teach all these people, black and white, the history of things. That way you don't have that kind of mindset. Because when you look at Egypt, the great things that they created, you say, what kind of technology did they have to do these things? They have their own ways of doing things, to build those huge monuments. And then you have the European came in and destroy it. Okay? So they need to teach all of them those foundation of things, so you don't hear them talking this BS, or we taught them this, we taught them how to do this, they're using our knowledge to do all of this, when before that many great things were being done by a lot of African American, I keep on saying African American, blacks around the world. So they had their own knowledge. Is when the other people step in out of jealousy, spite, and all of this, they destroy, okay? They impose their BS, their evil ways into the people, and then they think they know better than other people. And this is the battle where we are in here, okay? Battle of, a lot of other race know their foundation is when the other ones come and try to impose their nonsense and say, oh, we know better than you. And then that's when they go into counterattack and say, no, you came here, you destroyed this, you destroyed that, and all of that. You don't see a lot of people flaunting their foundation, their history into people. It's when the other ones start flaunting it into their face and, they go into the counterattack. And this is what we need to do. Many people don't, how will I say that? People, there's a lot of things going in my mind as I record this, but many of these things, we need to put these people in their place when they're trying to say this nonsense. Education of history needs to be taught. People need to understand certain things. And when you look at things that's going around the world, I didn't show this, but about Israel, what's going on, and the Palestinian and so on. When you hear these people are talking, whatever, but it's go deeper than that. People need to teach people foundation, history of each cultures and all of that, so you don't have those white people coming out of their nonsense, because their foundation, look at this. Right now, they should come to the realization they were wrong. Okay? If they had said, okay, I'm wrong for doing this, and start fresh, creating a new foundation, we're looking at the time, okay, seconds, hours, minutes, and days, weeks, months, years, decades, centuries, and all of that. For us, we think it's going very slow, but it's really going really fast. So if they had took the time, look at from the time Harry came and made his apology, it's already probably a couple months now. All right, it flies really fast. So if they took the time now, right now, this instant, whenever they've, right now, and put a stop to this, they could change their course of future. All right, so the people who say, look at that, for instance, another example of that. Look at Germany. And I always feel like Germany government during the Hitler time hijacked that government to create that. Okay, I believe it's another government who took that, put Hitler in power to do this nonsense, and they hide behind something so they don't know it's them. I'm not going to say who, but some of you might have an idea of who I'm talking about. All right, so they hijacked that. And then after World War I, World War II, things sort of starting to realign, okay? It was imbalanced prior to that. First, it was fine because a lot of Germans were living peacefully, respect all race and all of that. Then things were, equal, were aligned. Then you got this guy come in, Hitler. He put imbalance into things. Then, after those two world wars, you have people who, the Germans, who took back control of their government, put these people into trial. Was it Nuremberg trial and stuff like that? Whatever they could find, they tried to at least put a rest to all the headache, the misinformation. Try to reclaim their names, reclaim their identity, because they were not that of a monster of a nation. So they put these people into trial and try to create a better path. Okay? So some of them are still there. You still hear the little hate in them because they embedded in them after Hitler. So some of them retain that. But majority of things, as a nation, they try to move forward to get away from that ugly past of them. Look at this. How many years since then? And I think occasionally here and there, I hear little pockets here and there of things that's going on. They're trying to set things straight. Okay? So they got themselves. They clear their conscience. They say, I'm not this type of a country. So they clear their name. I'm talking about Germany. So look, from the time they started and to now, as I'm recording, it's been several years since then. So we could have a different understanding of Germany, okay? But that Hitler past still there, but people could forgive at least the country as a whole, okay, because of what they did, putting these people into trial and try to set things straight, okay? As a country, as a government, we could say, okay, you know, we forgive you, but we didn't forget, this kind of thing. So if many of these people who's force feeding people those stupid information, okay, the royal, put a stop to it and clear their conscience and tell the people, you know, work toward rebuilding a trust of all the things that they did around the world, okay? Maybe their future great grandkids will say, okay, I could be proud of my family of this and that. But right now, none of them are proud of it. Look at Harry, what he said already. All right? Many people, many of them are not proud. And you hear every now and then people are saying that, you know, they look at the monarch as, you know, the beacon of white supremacy. Okay? So eventually things are gonna unravel. It's not gonna look good for the rest of the family. So someone need to say, this need to stop. You are in power. You are the head of the family, the head of the monarch. You need to put an end to this BS. So that way, my future grandkids could have a better life. Because things are not looking good. If you get people upset, you get this and that, it's not gonna look good for them. So they need to put a stop to it. But anyway, this is my morning rant. It's what now? You could hear the birds in the background. I think it's, what time is it? 7:05. They're still sleeping. So I need to make the other portion of the breakfast. That way we don't rush. It's very sunny now. The sun is coming out. If it was raining, we'll be packing up and go. So we're gonna enjoy that. We have to leave by 12. We have to give the site by 12. So by 10, we need to start packing up. So yeah, I start making breakfast for them. So that was my rant for this morning. Look, thinking about Harry. What was the originality of my thing? I don't even remember what I started with in this podcast, but things could change. Education, listening, I think these are some of the key things that I talk about. Listening, comprehension, reading comprehension, change the course of your future. All right, Harry, the world have embraced him, will protect him. Not only because of his own doing, but also as a return for what his mom have done. Because he's the only one of the two brothers who decided to take the right path. All right? And you just never know what the future holds. Even all of this stuff that he's doing, we do not know how his kids will end up. So this needs to be seen, and we have to take each kid as their own merit. Don't expect Archie or baby Sussex girl that's about to born. We should be open-minded, and when they become adult, expect, receive them as they are. Do not, the same way, there's another thing here. I was trying to close up, but other thing coming to mind. As they grow up, we have to see them for who they are as an individual, and then let them show the world who they are as an individual. Don't start to expect what Meghan or Harry are doing and expect it on them. They may go completely 360. They may not be that type who wants to do charitable work. All right, this is the thing many people have to be very careful of, and then to not start judging them when they become a young man or young lady and expect them to be exactly like their parents. The same way we see some parents are doing some bad things, we don't expect their kids to do the same thing. All right? Or maybe if the world is lucky enough to have a copy, another version of Harry and Meghan, we'll be very lucky of that. So we have to be open-minded, not to start judging them to be exactly like their parents because we like Harry and Meghan. Okay, we are seeing Harry as Meghan as Harry as Meghan. Archie and soon to be baby Sussex girl, we need to open-minded. Let's them show us who they are. Don't expect them to be like their mom and dad. This kind of thing. So we don't start bashing them. Maybe it's a different version completely, but still impactful in a different way. So don't start putting these kind of things onto these kids. And I think this is the thing Harry wants for his kids, where to have a choice. Okay, you don't have to be like me. You don't have to be like your mom. Okay, you want to be an actor? Go be an actor. You want to be, I don't know, motocross, I don't know, any kind of, you want to be an architect? Go be an architect. You don't have to be this, whereas the day you were born, this is what's set for you. All right, this is the thing Harry did not like. All right, he wants to create something completely different for his kids to have a choice. So therefore, us as their fan, we need to support them, you know, the best way we know how. If Archie and baby Sussex wants to be something completely different, we need to support them. Maybe being an architect might be, okay, I want to create shelters, build shelters around the world for people. I want to design community centers for people around the world. It's still impactful. You never know. So we have to be open-minded and don't start judging and expecting. Okay, that's the thing. Don't expect them to be this. Already create a picture in our head. This is what they should be. So we need to be very careful of that. And, you know, and they have to be at their own merit. So let me stop before other ideas come to me. All right, so that's it. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. Thanks for watching.